I saw him kissing our intern right in the middle of the room, in front of everyone at the company party that my husband and I organized ourselves. An hour later, I was already riding in a taxi with a drunk, beaten-up man I didn't even know by name. And 3 months after that, I was standing there with a referral for an abortion. Want to know how I ended up there, and who was by my side when everything came crashing down? But before we go on, drop in the comments what you're expecting from this story and what topic you'd like to hear next. We read all your comments and really appreciate your feedback. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell. Alright, we're starting now. My name is Emily, I'm 31. My husband and I had our own beauty salon, a cozy spot on the avenue. We built it from scratch, with a loan and a lot of hope. 8 years together, at home and in business. I used to think we had it all stable, that we were a team. I was wrong. At the company party we organized ourselves, with the buffet, balloons, and a photographer, I froze with a glass in my hand. The music was blasting, someone was giving a toast on the mic, and my husband Daniel, my Danny, was kissing Taylor. Yeah, that same Taylor I had hired just a couple months ago to train as a makeup artist. He was standing with her by the stage, out in the open, no shame, no fear, like it was no big deal. I didn't throw a fit, didn't make a scene, just quietly walked out, leaving my coat, my purse, everything behind. It was December outside, the frost nipping at my cheeks, but that was actually good. It sobered me up. I wanted to howl, but I walked fast, like I was running from my own humiliation. Near the club service entrance, I stopped. There on the cold asphalt lay a man. Looked about 30-something, not old. Lip busted, jacket dirty. 2 security guards were standing over him. He's got ID, he's alive, one said. Let him lie there. Or toss him out the gate. The other shrugged. I don't know what came over me, honestly. Maybe in him I saw myself, humiliated, abandoned, unwanted. Or maybe I just wanted to do something wild to make the pain physical. This is my friend, I said out of nowhere. I'll take him. The man lifted his head. His eyes were surprisingly clear. He tried to stand. Thanks, he rasped. Come on, I said curtly. Just shut up. We hailed a taxi. He gave an address, an old 5-story building by the park. While we rode, he stared out the window, not saying a word. And I was thinking, what am I doing? What's even happening? His apartment turned out to be unexpectedly tidy. Medical books on the shelf, cups stacked by color in the kitchen. He apologized and went to shower. And I stood in a stranger's living room, feeling safe for the first time that night. When he came out in sweatpants, hair wet, I looked at him differently. Tired, reserved, not at all the guy from the asphalt. I'm Oliver, he said. I don't know why you helped me, but thanks. I didn't answer, just walked up to him, and it all happened on its own. We didn't talk, it wasn't passion or stupidity, it was something else. Pain meeting pain. We clung to each other like we were afraid of falling into the void. In the morning, he was in the kitchen brewing coffee. 2 cups on the table, sandwiches. He wouldn't look at me. I didn't ask your name. Emily, I whispered, grabbing my coat. Don't leave like this. Let's just talk. This was a mistake, I said. That's it, sorry. I ran out into the street without looking back. Going home seemed impossible, but I knew I had no choice, and I had no idea that in the line at the city clinic, I'd run into him again, in a white coat, calm, and everything that seemed like chance would turn into the hardest choice of my life. I got home late afternoon. The door was ajar in the hallway. Smell of fried potatoes. TV blaring in the kitchen. Daniel was sitting at the table with a cup of tea, and even smiled when I walked in. There's my runaway. Scared of the fun. He said it so casually, like nothing happened. Like I hadn't seen him locked in a kiss with a girl who was maybe 20 at best. I stood there frozen, not getting it. Was this his acting or my hallucination? Danny, I started, but he cut me off. I've been thinking, let's really have a kid. You've wanted one for ages. Things are stable now, we can afford it. My head was pounding with one thought. He's serious? After what he did, he's suggesting kids. Or does he think I'm that blind? I stayed silent. He got up, came over, hugged me. Emily, you're acting weird. Everything okay? I breathed in his scent. Familiar, homey, and foreign. Foreign perfume, subtle, Swedish. Definitely not mine. Where were you last night after the party? I asked. My voice shook. He didn't blink. Looking for you, then headed home. Thought you'd be here already. Bold-faced lie. Didn't even try to wiggle out. The next weeks were like a bad dream. Daniel played the perfect husband. Flowers, movies, bubble baths. I tried to smile, even met up with friends, but inside, emptiness. Then the delay. Day 1, 2, 5. I prayed for it to come. But no. I bought the test at a pharmacy across town, hid it in my pocket like stolen goods. At home, locked in the bathroom, sat on the tub edge, opened the package and saw 2 lines. My hands shook. I stared at the test, not knowing if it was joy or a sentence, and mainly from whom. With Daniel, we had a close moment that week, but with Oliver that night too, it all lined up. By dates, more chance it was his, the stranger's, the one I didn't even really know. I hid the test in my makeup bag, washed up, and went to the kitchen. How are you? Danny asked, not looking up from his phone. Fine. I lied for the first time, but knew it would only get worse. I woke every morning thinking, today I'll tell him. And every night went to bed without saying a word. Danny sensed something, got more suspicious, but hid it. Just started putting his phone screen down, taking calls in the hall, staying late at work more often. I saw it all, understood it all, but stayed quiet because I was scared. Because if he left, I'd be alone with a kid who might have another father. And the fear, what if he found out about that night? Who was I then? One evening, I sat in the kitchen pretending to work. Really browsing forums. Can you do a DNA test during pregnancy? How to decide on an early abortion? What if you don't know who the father is? No answers, just more fear. Danny's phone lit up. Message he didn't notice. Game was on, but I saw it. Danny, darling, I miss you. When do we meet? You promised to talk to your wife. And then it all clicked. He wasn't just cheating. He was planning to leave. I got up and went to the bedroom. Hands shaking. Pulled out documents, found the clinic number I'd noted once, just in case. Dialed. City Gynecology. They answered. I need an appointment for. I hesitated. An abortion? Yes, 6 weeks. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock work. It works. I hung up, head pounding. I don't know who the father is, and maybe better none at all. Morning was gray. Weather just like inside. Sky hanging low. Wet snow whipping. I rode the bus with a slip in my pocket and one thought. Just get it over, just do it and forget. The clinic hit me with the smell of bleach and blank faces. Women in the hall sat like at an exam, some with someone, some alone. But almost all silent, buried in phones. I stared at the floor, mind blank. Number 37. My legs felt leaden. I got up and walked the narrow hall. Nurse opened the door, nodded. Go in. Carter's office. I walked in and froze. At the desk sat him, Oliver, in a white coat, hair neat, that same direct, calm gaze. He looked up from the chart and paused. Emily, he said softly. I couldn't say a word, just stood clutching my bag like a schoolgirl. Sit, he nodded to the chair. I sat, eyes on the floor, and only now realized, among hundreds of doctors, dozens of clinics, I'd ended up with him, the one person who knew where this pregnancy might have come from. You sure about this? He asked calmly, flipping papers. Yes, I whispered, but my voice cracked. Oliver set the chart aside and looked at me, not judging, not accusing, with some kind of sadness. Can I tell you something? I nodded. That night when he paused. I was burying my father. He'd been sick a long time. The wake was at that club because Dad loved it, always said, if you're saying goodbye, do it with music. After I got drunk. First time in my life, like that. He looked out the window. Security threw me out. I lay in the dirt thinking that's where I belonged. Then you showed up. I listened, barely breathing. Inside, everything trembled. I didn't know why he was telling this, but he went on. You saved me for real. I don't know why. Maybe you sensed something familiar, but now he stopped, then said what made my knees buckle. Now I have to end what might have started that very night. I looked up. His gaze was honest, painfully so. This isn't your problem, I whispered. My life's complicated. Husband's cheating. I can't handle it alone. You're not alone, he said quietly. Tears welled up.
I'm scared.
I'm not sure who the father is. So you're here not because you don't want the baby, but because you're afraid. I nodded. Then think about it. You're stronger than you know. You have a day. If you still decide, I'll do it right. No questions. I stood, headed for the door. But he stopped me. Emily, whatever you choose, I'm here. I'd already gotten up, but he gently held me back. Emily, let me do an ultrasound. Not because you've changed your mind, just so you know what you're losing. I didn't answer, just nodded. He did it quick, no extra words. The room was silent. When a tiny spot appeared on the screen, my chest tightened. Heart's already beating, he said softly. 6th week. I turned away. Couldn't look. He printed the image and laid it on the table as I stood at the door. Think, he repeated. You're stronger than you know. I nodded and left. I didn't sleep all night. Danny snored beside me, noticing nothing, while I lay with my hand on my belly, trying to feel something. And in that silence, I realized for the first time, I'm not going to the clinic tomorrow. Morning, I got up early. Daniel still slept, sprawled out. His snoring didn't annoy me anymore. It was just like fridge hum. Before, I feared he'd leave. Now, staying was scarier. I went to the bedroom, tiptoed to the closet, started packing a suitcase. Not loudly, not with accusations, quietly, calmly, like heading on a business trip. And really, it was a trip to a new life. In the kitchen, I left a note. I need to be alone. I'm not missing. Don't look. Taxi waited downstairs. I sat in the back with 2 suitcases, thinking, what if he runs after? Calls, asks. But the phone stayed silent. Salon opened at 10. I arrived on time. The girls looked surprised. Suitcases pale but no tears. Everything's fine, girls, I breathed. Heading to Mom's for a few days. Went to Michael's office, our admin and Danny's buddy. Laid keys and document folder on the desk. Mike, I'm out of the business. Sign my share over to Danny.
No fights, punto.
Emily, you crazy? You and Danny, you have everything. I looked him straight, calm. We have nothing and you know it. No supplier meeting yesterday, and Taylor, the intern, she knows she's with a married man. Michael flushed, looked away. You knew, kept quiet. Fine, I'm not mad. Just don't want to live in the dirt anymore. I left.
No hysterics, no slamming doors.
Just walked out for good. Rented an apartment in an old 5-story near downtown. 1 bedroom, high ceilings, creaky floors. Uncozy, but honest. At least everything here was mine. Even the quiet. First days were weird. I wandered in a robe, brewing tea, catching myself thinking, he should walk in now, kiss my head, ask what to get for dinner. But he didn't come, didn't text, didn't call. A week later, an SMS. Let's talk. You tired? I get it. Come home. We'll fix it. I didn't reply. Another week, knock at the door. Him with a bouquet. Must have got the address for Michael. Can I come in?
No.
He shrugged. Emily, you're acting like a kid. What's this drama? Over what? That's exactly why I left. You think it's all a game. But if it's about Taylor, God, it meant nothing. And I'm pregnant. He went silent, dropped his arms with the bouquet. How far? 8 weeks. From me? I don't know. He paled. You were with someone that night when I kissed Taylor at the party? I was with someone else. Yes. So, you were getting revenge? No, not revenge. This is consequences. He threw the bouquet down. You nuts? Gonna have a kid from who knows who? No, from someone who's there. And you've been gone a long time. I shut the door, cried after. Not from pain, from relief. Everything said, done. A week later, Saturday, another knock. Oliver stood with a bag of groceries and a thermos. How'd you find me? Through registration. Sorry, I was worried. He went to the kitchen, set down a pot, unpacked bread silently, like he'd always lived here. You didn't have to come. I know, but I wanted to. We ate dinner. He washed dishes while I stood in the hall watching. In my kitchen, in my silence, someone who cared appeared. And for the first time I thought, maybe I'm not alone? By the 4th month, the belly showed. I didn't hide it. At the pharmacy, the cashier smiled. It's a boy, I can tell. But inside me was just a knot. I didn't know boy, girl, whose kid, what next? But one thing clear, no going back. Oliver kept coming almost daily. Brought food, books, listened. Talked if I wanted, silent if I couldn't. We didn't label what we were, just there. And that was enough for now. Then a knock. I thought. Again. I opened and froze. Daniel in a suit. With him, a guy in glasses, folder in hand. Can we come in? Danny asked, like dropping by for dinner, not after betrayal, pregnancy, escape.
No.
He wedged his foot. Emily, don't start. We need to discuss something important. This is Andrew, my lawyer. Lawyer jumped right in, no preamble. We want a DNA test after birth. If Daniel's not the father, we'll revisit property agreements. He won't support someone else's. I exhaled, looked him in the eyes. I gave up everything voluntarily. Won't take a dime from you and no test.
Why?
Danny snapped angrily. Scared? No point. Fatherhood means 2 things. You stopped being even the second a long time ago. He paled. You crazy? Birthing from who knows who. Ruining your life. You ruined yours. That night kissing the girl I hired myself. Lawyer yanked his arm. Let's go, it's clear. I shut the door. When I turned, Oliver stood in the hall with a bag.
Silent.
Heard? I asked. All of it, he said. But don't worry, you've got it under control. As long as you're here.
Yeah.
In the maternity ward, it smelled like lilacs.
May.
Drafts billowed curtains. I screamed, cried, squeezed Oliver's hand. He didn't leave for a minute. Then they laid Lily on my chest, tiny, warm, wrinkled forehead. She stirred, and it was a miracle. 3 days later, Danny came, stood in the doorway with a bouquet and box. Can I see? I nodded. He approached, peeked silently into the swaddle. Who does she look like? Herself. Do the test.
No. Why?
Because it doesn't matter to you anymore. And to me, it's all the same. He left for good. Oliver came with a car seat, took us home. Already had the crib and changing table set up. When did you manage? While you were in labor, he smiled. I have a key. I stood in the entry, Lily in his arms, and for the first time didn't fear the future. We got back from the hospital in total quiet. Oliver held the car seat tight, and I watched our daughter, trying to believe it was real. The apartment was ready, crib, little dresser, clean sheets. He'd handled everything. I didn't even ask when. Didn't matter anymore. He didn't stay overnight, just kiss my temple. If anything, call. I'm close. Next morning came with broth, then fruit, then a first aid kit, though nothing hurt. He didn't push, he was there. After a couple weeks, I worked from home again, of course. Online shop, slowly picking up. While Lily slept, I handled orders, replied to clients. First time in ages, felt like I was deciding things myself. Oliver opened his own office. Simple, no frills, but with a line. He came evenings, held Lily while I ate, then left. We didn't define us, but everything around said it for us. One evening, I couldn't hold back. What if Lily's not really yours? He looked calm. What changes? I didn't know what to say, because nothing. She was his, like always. I didn't go to court with Daniel. Signed papers through lawyers. He never showed again. Lily didn't know her biological dad. And thank God, probably. Now she's 1 and 3 months. She says, Mama, Papa, Kitty, and all. Loves all, especially after porridge, after nap, when tired of play. Oliver laughs. Girls got your spirit. Sometimes evenings, when Lily sleeps, I stand in the kitchen with tea and think, if I'd stayed then, forgiven everything, not left. But then know this. No Lily, her funny nose, her yell, Papa. No certainty that beside me isn't a betrayer, but someone who chose me, us. Not because he had to, but because he wanted. Every day, for real.